Hey guys, welcome back to the second episode of Mystical Ninja. Today we're going to clear out Oedo Castle, and I said in the last video that we would actually be fighting gigantic robots in this one, and that's because I actually remembered this differently. I thought the robot was actually at the end of this castle. It's not. It's just a little ways after, but unfortunately I only had enough time to clear out the castle in this episode, so that's exactly what we're going to do. And we're going to start by breaking these pots and collecting as much money as we can, again, because near the end of the game we will need some money, but there's a few other things I want to do in between, and the more money we have, the better, right? Just like real life. So let's just tear through this castle as quickly as we can. I remember the majority of it, but there are definitely gaps in my memory. There's a few times where we'll have to do some backtracking, and there's like some interesting little mysteries that they kind of added to it. Like a lot of games back in these days always used to have like some form of collectible or something like that hidden away, and just something off the beaten path. You don't really see that all that much anymore. Everything seems so linear nowadays, but there's gonna be a few of those silver cats kind of just off the trail, and we're gonna go and collect them all. So yeah, but we can only do that after we've beaten the castle. So for now we're just gonna clear out these enemies, grab the key, and keep on going on. So yeah, there's not a whole lot to say about this part of the game. The gameplay kind of speaks for itself. There's going to be a ton of locked doors that we're going to have to make our way through, and some questionable choices when it comes to like layout design. Things that I only noticed like afterwards because it'd been a while since I played. But this here is Mr. Elephant. Now we have access to the map showing us the inside of the castle. We're probably not going to need that for the most part. These things are quite straightforward in the beginning of the game. Later on, we also collect another thing called Mr. Arrow, which gives us the location of the boss, I believe. So you can get those in every dungeon, but like I said, we probably won't be using it all that often. I think there's one dungeon later on that's kind of really cryptic. It's filled with ghosts. We might need it there, but we'll see. And I am like completely off my game. This was actually a happy little accident because I didn't notice the silver cat over there, so by getting dropped off, it was nice to be able to go and grab it. Now, one of the things that's really weird, though, is those little gold platforms that I keep jumping off of. For some reason, they, like, cancel or slow down your input right at the end. You can see it when I jump. It feels like I'm never going to make it. And see, it happened there again. And I don't know why it does that, but 9 times out of 10, it'll cause me to miss my jump. There's a few times later on, too, where my jump inputs just get dropped completely. Like, I'm using an emulator, unfortunately, to be able to capture the footage, because I don't have an SD capture card at the moment. But I do actually own a physical copy of Mystical Ninja. I play it actually quite a bit. But I'm using an emulator with a PS4 controller, so the inputs get dropped every once in a while, and it's really weird. And one thing to note, too, is for the upcoming mech fights, there's actually a lot of different, like, button combinations to be able to use special moves and stuff like that, but the game never tells you about it. So I assume this was like back in the day you had to have the manual, and the manual would give you all the instructions. I mean, I'm just guessing, but it's thank God for the internet, because some of these controls are just really out there, and yeah, luckily we have that guide to be able to be like, here's the proper controls, because the game's not going to tell you how to work the robot. But it's still going to be a lot of fun. If I do recall, those parts are still pretty challenging too, so yeah, at least there'll be a little bit of difficulty to the run, you know? I actually misstepped here. I thought that was the way forward. This is one of the few parts where you have to do a bit of backtracking. Like, we're going to go forward here and collect a gold key that we can use on the door back there. And that'll move us forward, but I don't know if you guys saw that big thing behind the railing, but that is actually the boss. That's his feet. So use your imagination until we get there. But for the most part, this dungeon is pretty cut and dry. It's more or less just defeat enemies and collect items. And that was a really nice hit there. Killed the enemy off screen. I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, collect the gold key and then make our way backwards. And I think that's where we'll see one of the first locations that's actually blocked off until you beat the boss, and then you can come back in and grab whatever's on the other side. So that's coming up in just a sec. But man, I love this game so much. Playing it's actually been a real joy. I've started a lot of Let's Plays over the last little while, and this one I feel like I can actually stick with. I really enjoy playing this game. Some of these rooms, too, they're so big and open, and there's literally nothing in it except the elevator. It's friggin' weird. I love the enemy designs, too. In this game, I'm pretty sure they call these dumplings, but I think they're supposed to be modeled after mochi. I'm not 100% sure, though. I could be wrong on that. A lot of stuff gets loosely translated when it comes over back in, like, the N64 days. I remember, like, an episode of Pokemon had a rice ball referred to as, like, a hot dog or a hamburger or something like that, or a sub. I can't remember, but it was ridiculous all the same. Just go into the side room. There is a silver cat in the back corner. I'm going to grab that real quick because we need as many of those as we can get. This castle actually has quite a few of them. So... Alright, so we already got our first health upgrade. That must have been on the one before. I must have missed it. And, yeah, just collect a few more. I think by the time we actually leave this dungeon, we have at least 2 more, I think. So we're, like, halfway to getting another one, which is great. The more health, the better. I think just like in Zelda, you can get 2 rows of hearts. So that is a lot of extra health. Yeah, this is actually the first area that's kind of blocked off. That there you need to be able to beat the boss before you can actually do anything. So we'll be coming back for that. Thank God enemies start to drop health like the second you take damage, because I let a lot of dumb stuff happen to me throughout the course of this run, trust me. I thought this was a neat little trick, being able to just zoom back like clicking block to block, but unfortunately they don't add one for the way back. It would have just been a nice little convenience, but they were like, no, you don't get to have nice things. I purposely avoid the gold ones because I'm pretty sure they just heal you max, and sometimes there's better places to use that, but... Yeah, so this is Mr. Arrow, lets you see the boss on the map. I mentioned him earlier. I think every dungeon has one of each. It's, again, the dungeons kind of... In that aspect, they remind me a lot of, like, Ocarina of Time. Yeah, I remember getting into this room and thinking, hey, wasn't I already here? But no, this is, like, further up. And those ninjas, man, they come out of nowhere. I think this is the only dungeon in the game, too, that has them. I don't even know if they can be defeated. I've never bothered to try. I always just run. Oh, yeah, no, there's a real butt clench moment coming up here. I tell you that the controller keeps dropping my inputs. Well, I go to do a jump and I just, like, walk right off. I think it's right here. Yeah, oh, man. I was like, Thank God it was just, like, a centimeter lower. I always know that this is the one that leads to the boss because it doesn't move. So... I was sure I heard something down there. Was it you guys? What the? Well, who in the world are you? My name is Baron. I've come to make Oedo Castle a beautiful stage. Stage? What would we need a stage for? Come on, this smells like danger to me. Why don't we just grab this weirdo by the throat and beat him up a bit? Who are you calling a weirdo? Maybe I'll just have to beat you up. Also, I did not add that laugh track. That laugh track is actually in the game. Silver Cat. And then we'll just grab some health for safety. Now, going into this, I was actually kind of worried that the boss might have been tough. I couldn't really remember much about it, but this is probably one of the easiest boss fights that, like, ever existed in any video game ever. The only reason I even take damage is because the controller dropped my inputs. But and another thing that I'm starting to remember Mystical Ninja being like infamous for is enemies having way too much health. Like the average enemies die almost one hit, like every enemy in the whole game. Some of them have like 2 or 3 hits, but the bosses just go on forever, man. Like I hit this guy, I think like enough to bring him into like 5 or 6 cycles of this, which is just a little bit redundant. But, you know, it's just a little bit of rinse and repeat. You hit him on the chin, you jump over the laser beams, and again, controller was just starting to drop my inputs. It seemed like it happened every single time after he did the explosion, so I don't know if it was just, like, trying to keep up or what, but anyways. I'd love to be like, yeah, no, I'm just making excuses, but I know that controller was not working. So, plus it's an old controller, though. I should probably get something better. It's literally one of the ones where the right stick stopped working, so I figured I could repurpose it to play like older games on emulators and things like that. But yeah, it works, you know. Not that I condone the use of emulators or anything like that. It's just if I'm going to record it, I have to figure out some way, and unfortunately, this is the only way I've got. I need to get myself an SD capture card so I can start doing it straight from the console. Even though the console's like on the other side of the house, it'd be nice to play some of the games that I've actually got where it's like, I don't know, it'd just be cool. So like I said, this guy takes like 5 or 6 cycles to actually go through. And then when I was thinking about the actual like robot fights, the huge mech fights, I was like, man, it kind of really happens quite randomly now that I kind of actually think about it. You're just like literally strolling down a road and then boom, it just boss fight. It's the most random thing, but it's cool. You guys are really gonna like it. We'll see it in the next part for sure. I think this is just like the medallions in Zelda. You just gotta collect like X amount to beat the game. Alright, let's go see the Lord and see what he has to say. We're safe now, thanks to you. Lord, what has become of Oedo Castle? Suddenly, there was this bright light, and the next thing I know, well, look around you. We saw it from the outside. The whole castle transformed when that peach beam hit. I remember, that strange man was yelling something like instant stage beam. Instant what? That's a strange name. By the way, where did that weirdo go? He rushed off in an awful hurry. I've got a favor to ask of you. Could you guys catch... Could you guys catch... Ah, no, it's going too fast. I pressed the button too fast. We can't let anyone do something like this and get away with it. Good. I knew I could count on you. Oh, I almost forgot. Take this with you. As long as you've got this, you'll be able to open the gate. Goemon and Ebisumaru receive a super pass. Sweet. Want to save? Yes, we definitely do. So that was essentially the first dungeon of the game. Pretty straightforward compared to the rest of them. But they're definitely going to get a lot more interesting from this point out. So I think it's going to put us back outside the front. And before we continue on, we got a little bit of cleanup to do. So let's go and grab what we missed. Alright, we're back. Let's jump over the gap. Previously, that gigantic hand was here. Ooh, ninja sneaking up on us there. But yeah, this was essentially what was behind the hand. I think the coins are set up to make like some kind of kanji character or something. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, either way, free coins are free coins. So let's grab the silver cat. And I think we only need, yeah, one more until we can increase our HP. So, sweet. We're making good progress on that front. Because I think there's something like 48 of them, if not more. Alright. So, we're back at the start of the castle. We're going to break these real quick to get some more coins. I want to show you guys something real quick before we end up ending this part. So one of the things that I loved about Mystical Ninja was like the interactions that you can have in town. One of my favorites is going to the inn. There's all these different variations of the room that you can actually get, ranging from like super expensive to super cheap. And each one of them lets you play out a little animation. So I figured, well, we're still early in the game, we may as well head on back and take a look at one of the more expensive ones. The sequel to this, too, Goemon's Great Adventure, has something similar, but because you can have like 4 players at the same time, it has like these much more elaborate cutscenes, which maybe if I get the chance, I'll do a Let's Play of that as well. Maybe do a co-op Let's Play with somebody else. That would be really cool. But yeah, it's an interesting little feature, and I think it's really cool. So being this early in the game, I figured let's go for the more expensive one now, and then we can take a look at the other ones a little later on. So yeah, let's go and do that. Then afterwards, in the next part, we will start heading outside of town, take a look at the outskirts, and finally get on to meeting one of our new cast members, as well as some insane robot fights that I just love. I wish they would just make a game that was first-person mech fights just like this. I mean, this one's kind of like on rails, and I know there's things like Armored Core and all that crap, but you know what I mean. I really like this. There's a charm to it. It's pretty cool. I would love to see anything like Mystical Ninja come back. But yeah, the inn is right on over here. Let's go see what kind of room we can get. Welcome! What brings you here today? Spend the night? Let's do the gold suite. We gotta do the gold suite. Yeah. It's pretty expensive though. You're in for the night of your life. Yeah, anyways, they happen like every single time you go to the room at like a different cutscene. But anyways, guys, we're gonna save right here and now, and we'll check out some of the other rooms as our adventures go. We'll try to get into all the little details of this game, hopefully. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will make sure to see you guys in the next part. Alright, peace!